There you go.
Shalom, Israel. I am Principal Officer 500 Mariala. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohana. If it's not of Commander General Yohana, it is not of the truth. And we all know today is our history class, and we have my main man in the building, Officer 500, Officer Rumawan. You know what I'm talking about? So, like I said, this is a history class. And your oppressor, the so-called white man, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed devil, he is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
And these are not my words. These are not Officer Rumawan words. These are definitely not Commander General Hunter words, or General Muhammad's words, or all the other generals and brothers in the school. So we're here to wake our people up. We are sent by the Most High God. I was looking at one of Louis, not Louis Farrakhan, but Malcolm X's tapes. How he was talking about the history of the Muslims. Said that Elijah Muhammad was a messenger and he wasn't sent. Blah blah blah. And then he mentioned the something WF Master WF Muhammad, some white dude that introduced our people to their Muslim garbage. That's a bunch of nonsense. Louis Farrakhan is not a leader for the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. He claimed he know the history. He always said, "Oh, the Jews are black." But what else does he do? He's still claiming Islam. He still wants to follow Allah. Allah. No, Allah does not exist. In your minds of the errors, Allah exists. You know what I'm talking about? And also, he wants to be African. You can't be African. You can't serve two masters, like the scriptures say. If you can, brother, we're gonna get into let's start off with Columbus, just to give like a few verses on what's going on with America and why blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, why are we in America and how did we get to America and what happened on the arrival in America. If you Baba Kashar, grab the black Indians from
Start from the Christian.
Start from the top.
Yeah,
come.
Talking God. This is the book Black Indians, page 27. For the people of the Americas.
It's like you read the title at the top of it.
It's Common God.
The bottom.
This is the book Black Indians, page 27 at the top. It began with Columbus.
Began with who?
Columbus.
Now y'all know who Christopher Columbus is, right? Quote unquote claimed that he discovered America. The only thing Christopher Columbus discovered was being a beast and being a devil and murder. That's the only thing that he discovered. Read.
For the people of the Americas, the arrival of Columbus was hardly a blessing.
It's hardly a blessing. You would think that he was the first man to come to America, but our people was already here in America. And you would think that it would be a blessing for someone, you see a new face coming to the place where you dwell. Read.
On his first day, October 12th, 1492, the explorer wrote in his diary, I took some of the natives by force.
You what?
I took some of the natives by force.
He took some of the natives by force. Now, if you look at out there on the borders, what they do, our Hispanic brothers, Latino brothers and sisters are in cages. Once again, this man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. What type of person does that? God told us back in the biblical days that these people are vile people. As it says in Deuteronomy 20:50, this is a nation that fears counsel that shall not regard the old or the young. Read.
He later found the original inhabitants to the trackable, peaceable, and concluded there is not in the world a better nation.
Good night. He said there's not in the world a better nation. Like God has said all along that God hates these other nations, but guess what? He chose one nation of people to represent him on his earth. He chose to love one nation of people. And they just said there was not more peaceable nations than these people here, which is those 10 tribes. You know what I'm talking about? So Christopher Columbus, there was some writing people, man. What he did was one of the slaves, because Christopher Columbus had bad teeth. this devil kicked one of the slaves' teeth out of his mouth. And guess what? Because his teeth, he had bad teeth, he used those teeth of the slaves and put it in his mouth. That is a vile beast. And now people go around, they trying to save the so-called quote-unquote white man. We call him the red man because he is the devil. There's no red man under the planet. When you was kids, they tell you these little fairy tales about you going down to Hades and you going to hell where there's a devil down with a pitchfork, a long black tail, and all red. Yeah, I bet if you choke the white man, I mean, I said put your hands on the so-called white man, but I bet if you get choked, bet his face turn red, just like a wannabe devil.
That's right.
If you can't Bible shot, read the rest of that.
Come His response as a European was to say that Indians must be made to work and adopt our ways.
Wow. You can imagine what ways is that. You see the ways of America, right? Same ways that they brought from where they came from, the Caucasus Mountains, or whatever. Those are the ways that they wanted our people to serve. Like right now, homosexuality, abortions, kidnapping, all of that, torture, murdering. They are the wicked on the earth. In Job 9, chapter 24, I'm paraphrasing, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And how did Christopher Columbus know that there was a people of such caliber in this land? But guess what? Because he read the Apocrypha, that the Roman Catholic Church took out the Bible in the 1700s. They went against the authority of King James. Shall I say King James, which was a black man, went against the authority of the Roman Catholic Church. But they waited till this man died to tarnish his name. But once again, this is why we have the Bible, which is a history book for the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. The word holy means separate, means to be separate from everybody else. If you can't Bible shot, the next paragraph, read that first verse.
Come. The Christopher Columbus, whose unique seamanship and courage had opened the Americas to European penetration, also became the transatlantic slave trade.
The who?
The transatlantic slave trade.
There you have it. The transatlantic slave trade is recorded in the Bible. And guess what? Our people want to join Islam. They want to join Christianity. But they don't want to join that culture, which is being an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? And so now, you got in 1492, the 10 tribes, we can say 10 tribes was in America already. And then on the west coast of Africa, we still had the other 2 tribes on the west coast of Africa. And the same thing that happened to the Hispanics, they were already here. That's where we're going to go to a quote on Google. Can you read this for me about Kashah? Where it says on August 20th, 1619. Could scroll down. Yeah, come.
I'll read the start from the top.
Yeah, come.
This is from history.com. 1619. First enslaved Africans arrived in Jamestown, setting the stage for slavery in North America.
The first enslaved Africans. Then they go give it the African word. Black, Hispanic, Latino, Native American Indian. The so-called Negro, you are not Hispanics. It's like it. The so-called Negro, you are not an African. You are an Israelite. You are a Jew from the tribe of Judah. If you're a Mexican, you're from the tribe of Isupk. If you're Puerto Rican, you're from the tribe of Ephraim, and so on and so forth. You are not African. Go ahead, brother.
Oh my God. On August 20th, 1619, 20 and odd Angolians kidnapped by the Portuguese arrived in the British colony of Virginia and are then bought by English colonists. The arrival of the enslaved Africans in the New World marks a beginning of 2.5 centuries of slavery in North America.
Good night. The New World. What is that New World? When the Hispanics came over to to Americas, it was called, at that time, called Arsaruth. You can drop that, brother. Water for that. Okay, now we're gonna go to the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. This is a prophecy telling our people that those Romans are coming, and there's a thing that you have to do. It's time to go. As we use today, we use slang. You know what I'm saying? We say it's time to go. It's time to get up out of here. Or we say we don't got that much time. We only got a minute left. It's not saying a literal minute. They say we got to get the hell up out of here. It's time to go. You know what I'm saying? Because what's coming is a vile beast. These people are terrible and wicked. As the scripture said, they're at a border of wickedness. Good night. Go ahead. Let me Bible shot.
Luke 21 and 20, you said?
Come.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 21. And start at verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Said the trouble is near. Trouble is coming. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Then let them which are in Judah flee to the mountains. Judea, flee to the mountains. And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
And he said in verse 21, then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. So you know, as they say in the scriptures, that Israel is like a speckled bird. So the Romans was coming to do what they good for is killing, robbing, and stealing. So what they did was they came to Jerusalem to try to take over Jerusalem, try to kill as many people as they can. This was the time where they was trying to take us into captivity. And so we got different skin tones. They say like you got the different type of swords in the ground. We got different shades of brown, different colors. So you might say, oh, why is this if he's a so-called Negro, why is his skin tone light? It's not about skin color, it's about the seed of your father. We have many different complexions. And so you get Africans, because they try to say that Africa is the motherland. No. As it says in Galatians chapter 5, that Jerusalem is the motherland. Jerusalem is the mother of us all, not Africa. So, you know, Africans have the same skin tone as so-called Negro. You know, so they fled into Africa. The ones in Judea fled into Africa so they could blend into other dark nations. So the other 10 tribes, they fled to America. If you can't, Baba Kashah, give me the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 40. So we can get a little more history on why we in America, how we came to America. We came to America on slave ships, 1619. In 1492, like we just stated, those Hispanics, the Puerto Ricans on down, were already here in America. They tell you that your history just started in 1619. Your history started way back before 65 BC. Your oppressor, he thinks he's very smart. Don't get me wrong, like one of the priests said before, he's kind of smart. Like the Baal Mom said, this man is like a child. Sometimes you got a kid to know which way is up. But this oppressor, this beast, man, this guy, the stock market crashed, and he's the head of his company. This man will jump out the window. He'll go catch the elevator way up to the Sears Tower and jump out the window. These people are messy. It's a shame that our people sit around and don't see exactly what's going on. As the scriptures say, the man of sin will be revealed. This man is being revealed. And the God has shown you that these people are wicked. They're not to be trusted. These devils are your enemies. The so-called Arabs are your enemies. The Africans are your enemies. And guess what? The Arabs, the Africans, and the so-called white man we call them the red man. They took part in your slavery coming here to America. Now, we all know the atrocities that happen. Our women defecate on themselves, all stacked up, packed up like sardines. These people are animals. As you see in the news all around the earth, how these people are. God warned us about these people. And Moses was a messenger of God, and Moses tried to tell our people, but our people didn't listen. Go ahead, read that Bible, Kashab.
Okay, it's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 40.
Go ahead.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land.
Those are the who?
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land.
They're prisoners right now. Go ahead.
In the time of Hosea, the king, the king whom Salmansar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
America, go ahead.
Okay. Verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
So it's just said, but they took counsel among themselves. They talked amongst each other that they would lead the multitude of the heathen. Guess what? Those heathens wasn't the good people. They wasn't living right. They saw how those people were living. They saw the type of people that they were. So they go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. So if these 10 tribes on their way to America, they came to America, how the hell did Christopher Columbus discover America? The scriptures don't lie. Like I said, he found out that those people were in America because God turned his back on our people. Like right now, he's turned his back on our people. But until now, since 1969, under those 7 heads, and then Commander General Yohana took over because Commander General Yohana did not lead the truth. He stayed and kept his truth. We like to get Commander General Yohana a great hand. Without this man, I don't know where the hell I would be at. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm quite sure that every brother under General Muhammad can say this. If it wasn't for this truth, a lot of us would be dead right now. So to a lot of people out there listening to this class, you need to come into class. Like Commander Junior Yohana said, things are about to get real hectic. Within the next 2 years, you see what they're doing to our people, the Haitians. See what they're doing to the Hispanics. You know, see what they did to us back in the 80s, putting drugs in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Guns and all of that. It's time for you to wake up, black man, Latino man, Native American Indian man. The same thing that you see going on with them, they're going to try that. They're going to come there with you. But if you're not serving the Lord, you're not learning these law, statutes, and commandments, you're going to be in trouble. They make these movies that show you these things that's going on in these movies. That's what's going to happen. If you can't, shall I read the rest of that?
Okay, verse 42. That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
If you can't, shall I drop that? Go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. Let's get to the meat.
Okay.
Get to which, because y'all have to realize that slavery was a punishment. Because right now, like happened in the biblical times, y'all want to eat pork, y'all want to smoke weed, y'all want to smoke cigarettes, y'all want to get high, eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, y'all want to join these other nations, y'all want to save the so-called white man. You got these other organizations letting white people in their groups, letting Africans in their groups. We are supposed to be separate. If you're a priest and a prophet, you know the word holy means separate. Why are you joining these other nations? Like you said, the transatlantic slave trade happened. Those Arabs, the Africans, and the so-called white men, they also part of your slavery. And you want to be a Muslim? No, that's not your culture. Christianity is not your culture. As it says in the book of Acts, blacks were Christians first. Now, anybody can be a Christian according to the so-called white man. But under Commander General Yohana and under the order of the Most High, Christ, then Commander General Yohana, we're going to keep this truth. and hold this truth until our King Christ that sky with those 200 million chariots. When that day is going to be a sad, sad day. So I suggest that y'all come into class. If you can't make it to come in, Wednesday scripture breakdown class. If you can't make it, tune in online, Isupk.com. If you can't, should I go ahead and read that?
Which one? You want to start at
Deuteronomy?
Deuteronomy, or you want to go straight to
You go straight to 68.
Come on, Khan. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
You said with who?
With ships.
With who?
With ships.
Black man, Hispanic man, Native American Indian man. How did you get to America? On cargo slave ships. Guess what? The so-called Arabs who come from a forefather Ishmael, they built the slave ships. And we was living in Africa for over 1,000 years. And guess what? They saw how we was living. They saw that we were a greater people than them. And they rounded us up and sold us to the so-called white man. Guess what? They will pay for what they done. You can rest assured that they will pay. Go ahead.
Khan. Thou shalt see it no more again.
If thou shalt see it no more again. What shall I see your homeland again? We said Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Khan. And there ye shall be sold.
You shall be what?
Shall be sold.
Go ahead.
Unto your enemies.
Unto your friends.
Unto your enemies.
To your homeboys.
Unto your enemies.
To your home slice.
Unto your enemies.
Unto your white neighbor.
Unto your enemies.
Unto your enemies. Go ahead.
Khan. For bondsmen and bondswomen. And no man shall buy you.
For bondmen and for bondwomen. Guess what? What they say Africans was for sale. No, Africans was not for sale. It tells you niggas was for sale. They had you on those auction blocks, 35, 45, 55, selling you to the highest bidder. And as Christians say this, I'm paraphrasing, they're taking a boy for a harlot and have sold the daughters of Jerusalem for wine, for mustard guns and wine. You got these Arabs, all these heathens running these stores, people working in these stores, and they're not going to tell you that you have over 75,000 to 80,000 of our women missing. And that's just blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. In Zephaniah 2, chapter 2, verse 1, it said, gather yourselves together, O nation, not desire. The white man is your enemy. And on Judgment Day, your enemy will be taken down to the ground. And at some point in time, when it's time for your enemy, the so-called white man, to serve their captivity, they're going to serve long captivity. The scripture said, do double unto her. According to her, do double. There's going to come a time when they're going to be wiped off the face of the planet Earth. You're not going to see that red man no more. You don't have to worry about your kids being kidnapped. You don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to worry about nobody raping your kids, nobody killing, nobody stealing. These people are wild beasts. That was the most cunning beast of the field. And I'm telling you, blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, there are more rough times coming. Like Commander Junior Hunter said, you better get yourself together. And also says before the decree bring forth, once again, Christ is coming back with 200 million chariots.
That's right.
He's going to wreak havoc on this earth. Now, paraphrase the scriptures say his vessel is going to be looked as if it was dipped in blood. Meaning Christ is going to do so much killing. It's going to be so much heartaches and pain, so much gnashing of teeth. That's going to be a lake of fire when those bombs start dropping. Like it says in Zechariah. But the scriptures say their tongues shall consume away in their mouth, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes. It's going to be a tragic day. So blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, coming to the ISUPK under Commander Jimmy Yohana. We have schools all over the earth. you have schools over east in not suburbs, like we have schools all over the land, all over the earth, all overseas is what I was trying to say. Got them in London. We even got some over there in Canada. As the scriptures say, we would be scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth. If you care about Bukashah, let's get some more history. This is going to be one of the best history that's ever written. But besides Esau going to go into, Esau is a so-called white man. Esau is the forefathers of the white man. They are going to go in a monument in a museum. And I'm going to show my kids, if I ever have any, but I'm going to use Officer Rumble One kids. I'm going to show his kids, because so he want to have maybe 10 more babies, you know what I'm saying? Don't quote me on that. You know, I know it's real looking like, I ain't said it about no 10 more babies. Have he told you something? I don't know. No, sis. I'm just saying. They will say, oh, Dad, is this the man that had us in slavery? I'm going to say, yes, son. He going to say, yes, son. Unfortunately so. If you care about Bukashah, give me the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 9.
Oh, God.
You know, we bring out the truth of this Bible. We don't sugarcoat anything. We don't want to make ourselves look good. But we are prideful for the Most High. We're going to speak this truth. It says, follow your pride. And I'm prideful to be a soldier in the Isupk.
Right.
To be a child of the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh in the Hebrew. And his son, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. If you can't go ahead and read that, Baba Kashah.
God, it's the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
If any man have an ear, let him hear.
It just said, if any man have an ear, whether it's man or woman, listen to this and hear this. You know, you got ears that can hear. Listen to what's about to be said. And once again, Revelation, the real word of Revelation is revealed. Revelation means to reveal. Go ahead.
God. Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity.
He that what?
He that leadeth into captivity.
Meaning, like we said in the transatlantic slave trade, he that leadeth into captivity. If you take a man, woman, and child, and put them on boats so they defecate on themselves, having them packed up like sardines, our people was jumping overboard, getting ate by sharks. They was getting thrown off the slave ship. Some of our people were jumping off, and they did not want to go back into captivity. You don't think this is just for the so-called white man. This is for all you other nations, all you heathens. Ammon, so-called Japanese. Moab, so-called Chinese. Ishmael, the so-called Arabs. Esau, definitely the so-called white man. Go ahead.
God.
It's like you read it from the top again.
God. 9 and 10.
10.
God. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Shall what?
Shall go into captivity.
No, maybe.
Shall go into captivity.
They might.
Shall go into captivity.
They probably.
Shall go into captivity.
Oh, Esau say they gonna migrate.
Shall go into captivity.
It just says scriptures that said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. You can drop that. Once again, God is a just God. What they say in the streets, what goes around comes around. As it said in the scriptures, you reap what you sow. Oh, you definitely got to reap what you sow. You oppressors are going into captivity. Man is the so-called white man. If you don't believe me, go to Isaiah 14:1. If y'all don't believe me, pick up this book. You heathens, y'all can read it. And let's see what y'all destiny is. But we know what y'all destiny is. And with that, this is the Israelite school. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohana. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street in Harlem, New York. Once again, under Commander General Yohana. Not Louis Farrakhan, not Elijah Muhammad, not none of these other false pastors, false preachers, not Father Flager, not T.D. Jakes. And as the scripture said before, that no man shall buy you. All those people that I just said, they're not going to be able to get you out of this predicament. Dr. Martin Luther King tried. None of those people will be able to get you out of this predicament. There's only one man that's going to get you out of this predicament. Never be our King, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. With that, I'm going to turn the class over to Priest Officer 500, Officer Romawan.
Isupk security announcements. We got our Isupk started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the heads to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the heads to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashla. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department of Teaching. Priest fund, which is a free will offering for the priest, it's not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming Holy Convocation, we got the Feast of the Dedication.
That's right.
Which is Sunday, November 28th. You get a chance, come down 938 East 79th Street. Bring the family, all blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, so-called. You are all welcome.
Right.
So if any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, make sure you come in all black with boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that, we say Amajim. Lock you. We're going to do a courtesy salute to the teacher. Men, Salaki. We say Amadium, Amadium Shabbat, Amadium, Barak, Yahal Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah Barak Atham.
Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah Barak Atham.
Yazmatah, class dismissed.